Hello, this presentation is brought to you by the Speaking and Writing Center at the University of Mary Washington. Today, we will be talking about class discussions. During this video, we will cover how to prepare to discuss, leading a discussion with 5 common situations and how to combat them, a guide to participation, and online synchronous discussions. Most often in a class discussion, you will be discussing an assigned topic. This can include readings or videos. So work on class discussions starts before class even begins. Obviously, step 1 is to do the assignment that the discussion is based on. But whether you're the leader or a participant, be sure to do more than just skim. Read or watch the assignment closely. Make sure you understand key concepts and look for connections that can be made to previous assignments or class sessions. If there is anything you thought was interesting or you had questions about, make a note about it so that you'll remember to bring it up. Other people might share your thoughts or need clarification. During your time at Mary Washington, you may have to lead a class discussion. This could be in one of the required speaking intensive courses. Even with preparation, this can be intimidating. Often, the nightmare scenario is that no one says anything. There are a lot of things that go into this, but we are going to cover 5 reasons why and how to deal with them. Number 1, the class might not be ready. By this, I don't mean they haven't prepared, but it is important to not jump right into things. Give them a warm-up, something opinion-based like, what did you guys think of the reading? This allows them to gradually become more interested and isn't as intimidating. Number 2, the questions could be too simple or too difficult. When leading a discussion, questions should be open-ended, meaning they can't just be answered with a yes or no. This forces the participants to expand on their thoughts. Examples: do you own a dog? With this, there isn't much to discuss, and students can be thrown off or worried about a trick question if things seem too simple. A better question is, what are the benefits to owning a dog? This allows participants to give examples. Conversely, sometimes people didn't understand the question. If you get blank stares, it helps if you repeat it again, maybe slower, to help people process what you said. Or you might need to break it down. For example, if you ask, was the moon landing faked? And if so, how does that change science as we know it? This is a multi-step question, so it helps to ask each separately. Was the moon landing fake? Wait for an answer, and if someone says yes, ask, how does that change science as we know it? By this simple practice, you break the complicated into something easy. Number 3, you might not be giving enough time. So, you've asked your question, you've simplified it, you've repeated it, and nothing is happening. Don't panic. This is not the end of the world. As a discussion leader, silence is your friend. Your classmates might need a moment to think, so embrace the silence. And don't worry if it feels awkward, because it will feel awkward for everyone else too. Likelihood is, if you wait long enough, someone will say something. And you just have to try and not cave first. If it has been a really long time, you can move to the next question or say you will come back to that to give them time to think. If silence keeps happening and you've done your part, it reflects on them, not you. Number 4, they might be waiting for someone else to step in. In every class, there seems to be a few outgoing students who answer every question. And this is great, but sometimes it makes it hard for others to get a chance to speak. Or they have an expectation that the more outgoing student will talk first, and they don't have to do any work. As a discussion leader, it is your job to pay attention and ask for other people's thoughts. Of course, phrase this in a nice way, such as, "Sammy is doing a great job, but I'd like to hear from someone else." If you're in a smaller class where you all know and trust each other, it may be appropriate to call on someone, but usually this makes people uncomfortable. It is best to encourage engagement, not force it. Lastly, number 5, you might not be asking what others want to talk about. Sometimes students will be having great discussions, but then not be interested in the next question. Sometimes you will have to redirect if people are going off topic. However, to avoid this, it is better to make your questions rely on quality, not quantity. Ask questions that allow people to talk for a long time, not multiple questions that might not all be interesting. If people are having a good discussion, you don't need to cut it short to fit in the next question. This leads me to my last point about leadership. When leading a class discussion, remember that this is a discussion, not a dictatorship. You can only control so much. Sometimes the class will go in a different direction than you expect, and that's okay. Try to be flexible. The reason we have class discussions in the first place is to take what we each know and reach greater understanding together. If you find what you're discussing interesting, let that show. As the leader, ask questions that you would want to talk about as well as what is required. Now that we have discussed how to lead a class discussion, it is important to talk about participating in a discussion. When participating, you still have a role to play. Come prepared and speak up. It's basic reciprocity. You will be leading one day and you don't want everyone to be quiet then. Don't be afraid to take risks. We are all different and have things that make us who we are. There are things that only you can point out because of your unique experiences. So definitely take the opportunity to share. If someone says something you disagree with, respond civilly. It is normal to have differing opinions, and those discussions are what helps people grow. Don't talk in terms of feelings, but instead look for evidence. Lastly, when you're not speaking, practice active listening. This means that you show you're paying attention through eye contact, nodding, etc. This goes doubly so in terms of online class discussions. Online discussions can be really difficult, especially when you're staring at a screen with 40 blank faces. So be kind and try to make the leader's job easy. This could be making sure you answer a couple of questions or adding a reaction. You could even share your thoughts in the chat. Remember to tell those around you that you will be in a virtual class discussion to avoid distractions. Some struggles are unavoidable when online, such as bad connection, program failure, storms, and blackouts. Communicate any issues in a timely manner, even in advance if you expect something might go wrong. If you know your internet is slow, sit near the router, and if possible, ask those around you to get off all devices during the time of the discussion. Back to things that are in your control. During online discussions, it can be hard not to interrupt people. We don't have access to the same social cues that we use in person to predict who is going to speak next. It can help to institute some form of turn-taking system. This could include having people raise their hands and calling on them in the order they were raised. Or you could send a message in the chat. Online discussions are a great opportunity to try something unconventional for class discussions. Much of the fundamentals will be the same, but there are always changes. Go with the flow and stay flexible. This concludes our presentation. Good luck in your future discussions. If you would like more information or have any questions, search for the Speaking and Writing Center on the UMW homepage to find our contact info, or use the link in the description. You can also follow us on social media to stay up to date with what we are offering. Thank you for watching. I'm Emma, a consultant at the Speaking and Writing Center. Be sure to leave a like and smash that subscribe button.